Whew.
Oh my goodness.
That match really ebbed and flowed, didn't it?
Ebbed and flowed.
I hate using cliches, but this really was a game of two halves.
It was a game of two halves, and it was the slow Bunsen burner that you had. And breaking news, people, finally South Africa have ended 13 years of T20 World Cup pain, 11 years of ICC pain against India. They have won by chasing 134 and winning by 5 wickets. 50s by Aiden Markram
and
David Killer Miller. What a magnificent player he has become. So because of these 250s by Aiden Markram and David Miller, South Africa have won a thrilling encounter in Perth with 2 balls to spare, and they are now on top of the points table.
Correct.
South Africa have 5 points, and the net run rate could have dipped to under 5 because they had to chase quicker if you have to win.
But this was not a match where you had to be looking to correct your net run rate.
Absolutely. So India, we were all dreading when that one bad day will happen. Today that bad day happened. And we were in the contest. We were primarily in the contest due to 2 people. Surya Kumar Yadav and Arshdeep Singh.
Correct.
Surya has shown that he is an all conditions player. He is a genius when it comes to batting at this point in time in T20. There is no question about it. 935 runs at an average of over 40 and with a strike rate of 170.
On a pitch like this, which was just so horrible to bat on.
Yes.
Even if you look at the fact that the South Africans had 2 batsmen who got half centuries, see the rate at which they had to bat to get to those half centuries.
10 overs, 40 for 3. 10 overs, 40 for 3. That was the equation. And we all thought that if South Africa could get to 10 or 11, the required time 10 to 11.
It would be too much for them.
It was too much. But the intent that Markram and Miller showed, that drinks break changed the entire equation.
Yeah.
Markram was the first who started the onslaught, and he got it off Hardik Pandya. 25 were needed of 18, but those 2 sixes that he hit of Ravichandran Ashwin ensured that the game was sealed.
Yeah. I think actually there's 3 talking points for me when you're talking about this match, and one we already discussed. Surya we discussed in length, so we're leaving that out, but there are 2 major points for me, or 3. One which is a bit of a subplot, unfortunately. One was the knocks played by Miller and Markram, which actually changed the trend of the game because India had got themselves on top.
Yep.
After the first 10 overs, it was India's game to lose.
Yes.
Such was the dominant position they were in. They needed just 1 more wicket at that point and the match was all but done for.
Yes.
But Markram Miller changed. That is talking point number 1, and we'll address both of these in a bit. The second was it 17th over of Ashwin, that those 2 sixes which were conceded early on, I think that was the moment when we knew the match was done.
I would add a bit more to that. Kohli's drop.
That was the subplot.
Kohli's dropped catch. When Kohli drops a catch and Rohit Sharma misses a straightforward run out, you know it is not your day.
Yeah, actually India's day on the field was very forgettable.
Very forgettable.
Very forgettable.
Can you believe it? I mean, it was a straightforward chance. Kohli, I did say at one point in time, and I do stick to that Kohli's drop at Wellington in 2014 proved to be extremely costly. India did not win the series in New Zealand after that. And now, this dropped catch of Markram ensured that South Africa, the force was with South Africa.
Yeah.
Rohit missing a run out. What happened? You saw 76 runs, that partnership. And it gave India that, it gave South Africa that edge.
Yeah.
Miller could bide his time because Ashwin missed 2 balls. He missed this length. It was an off break. But if Ashwin had watched that game against, you have to think, right? Bangladesh versus Zimbabwe. What was Mossadegh Hossain doing?
He was just darting them in hard. That's it.
Darting. You had to bowl quick. But Ashwin bowled the off spinner, got it to full, bang.
At that point,
meter 6 and 92 meter 6.
At that point, if it's in the slot, it doesn't matter where it's spinning, because if it's in the slot and the batsman senses it's landing there, he's going through with the shot. He's backing himself every single time.
Yes, absolutely. So that is why what is happening? What happened in that? Look, kind of, if we have to look at it, you could have adopted the Kane Williamson template in this. Okay, South Africa, you want to go through my potential weak link,
Yeah.
go through my best
Fastest bowlers first.
Shami conceded just 6 runs. Bhuvi, for all his credit, he just gave away 4 runs in the final over. He gave away for 6 runs, but 4 balls.
Yeah.
Imagine, had Arshdeep and all the guys chipped in, South Africa would have needed 12. Perhaps Ashwin could have done it. Perhaps. So that is why I'm only saying Markram, Miller, they got a big reprieve because the catch was dropped. Amit Khajuria, how much chance of India is depleted now? I'll come to that later. Nagasai Pawan Kumar is like saying, just stop somewhere there. There was a comment up there. Yes.
Go slightly up.
It's like, Sid, I know you will bring that up today. You have a great chance today. FIA, go on Markram, hit 12 after Kohli and Rohit dropped catch and run out chance only. Miller finished the match. Yes, but then look, 10-12 runs that Markram hit, but how much Miller hit?
Also, no, more importantly, the thing is, today's one of those anomaly matches where I don't think you need to judge strike rates. I don't think you need to judge how many runs because the target was small.
Yes.
The reason I kept saying South Africa, and we were upstairs, we were watching the match with Pragyan Oja and Madan Lal, 2 people who were telling us the same thing, that look, if they don't get a 5th wicket early,
yes,
then this match can go the distance.
And it did go
the distance. Remember when they started bringing on Pandya and Ashwin, what was the first thing we were saying? We were saying, why did they not bring on Arshdeep for one more over? Take the risk and try and get a wicket.
Yeah, in fact, Pragyan was like saying, you should have bowled 3 overs of Arshdeep. Perhaps. Then keep 1 at the death and let Shami bowl the entire death overs. But actually, you stuck to that template.
Sridhar Savaikar, by the way, has the comment of the day and something that I'm going to now start harping on. You needed another attacking bowler, that is Yuzi, after 8 overs of quality pace. You needed to continue the attack with a spinner. I agree, Ashwin created a chance, but he didn't trouble anyone.
I said in one of the shows prior to this, you are picking Ashwin for the left-hander capability. Okay, great. But you missed the broader picture. Ashwin's red ball record against left-handers is phenomenal.
And why is that the case? Because he looks to bowl the off-spinner. He looked to toss it up. He looked to get flight. He looked to get extra turn.
Yes.
That makes it harder. Here, he's doing none of that.
His stats against left-handers in white ball cricket is slightly overrated. Roy SP is giving us a super chat saying, super happy with our pace attack. It's high time to be better at selecting 11. If Huda doesn't bowl, no use.
Yeah, well, that's also something worth coming to. I
mean, I will again say this. What did Deepak Huda do in this game? Okay, number 1. He was totally at sea against the South African pacers. You could see he was way late on the shot.
Yeah.
Got out cheaply, did not bowl. With Huda, you are expressing that confidence that I don't have confidence in my top order.
No, I will stop you there. What confidence?
Exactly.
And you're not giving, and the worst part is you're not giving him any confidence also. You gave him a bat, fair world, but also, mind you, one of the main reasons he got to bat was because the top order collapsed. No pressure on you, young man. It's your first World Cup, first match in the World Cup. You're going out there to bat on a very tricky surface. No problems. At least you can get to redeem yourself with the ball. Yeah, you didn't get to bowl either.
You didn't get to bowl. Whenever Huda has played, where has he bowled?
He's bowled only in ODIs mostly.
He's not bowled in T20Is. You got a glimpse of it. Okay, the template, Huda will not bowl
against Pakistan.
In T20Is. You didn't bowl him against Sri Lanka, you didn't bowl him against Pakistan.
And Pakistan in particular, remember, that was the match when they sent Nawaz up the order. There was a perfect chance to actually...
That didn't happen.
Yeah.
Now, on a Perth wicket that was spicy,
Yeah.
why would you want to pick 2 spinners?
Yeah.
Why? You saw Keshav Maharaj was the most expensive bowler on that wicket. Why? Because slot ball, when it comes to a pacer, you can mistime it. But with a spinner, it's easier to come onto the bat.
Also, you have to remember, South Africa too went for 2 spin options. But who was their second option? Aiden Markram, the partiest of part-time options as a spinner.
And if you have to look at it, Dinesh Karthik did not capitalize. I will come to just open the scorecard, Anurag, if you can. I'll just come to the knock. We'll just go up in the India innings. DK. 6 of 15. When you had a golden opportunity to hang in until the 17th, 18th when you're in the zone and go for quick runs.
Correct.
DK, when he comes before the 17th or the 18th over, seems to be totally out of his zone.
Yeah.
He neither looked in, neither did he look out. Deepak Huda, look at it. 2 balls he wafted.
And the
who
third
got
one?
to the end? Nortje. Nortje knew that I just had to get maybe an inch up. He edged it.
Correct.
And what was Nortje's plan? Hit the deck straight at the stumps.
Make it hard for them to get any space.
The same was with Lungi and Giri. Hit the stumps. Rabada struggled, but that is Rabada's struggle that is continuing for the past 1 year.
Yeah, but he's been a little out of form for a while, so that's not really down to anything.
DK 6 of 15 major questions has to be raised.
And I think now, I think people
are
are
looking at, okay, fine, I agree with this IPL performances, we've all been going gung-ho. But yes, I may have gotten swayed by DK's performances in the IPL. But I have been consistently saying about Deepak Huda, if you are not giving him an all-round chance, you're destroying his confidence. Out of what reason did you pick Deepak Huda when you did not bowl him? Did you get him to get exposed on this Perth wicket, which was absolutely supreme and the best attack on that deck?
And also, if you really have to look at it this way, and if you took Huda, the reason we were given, we gave, and which was also discussed by people, is that, look, Huda, the option he gives you is that he can float up and down the order, and is also someone who can bowl you a couple of overs. He doesn't bowl. Then the real question that you're asking yourself is, why the hell did you drop Shreyas Iyer? What wrong did he do? If you only needed a batsman, if you have no faith in his bowling ability, who does? Why do you have him there as a bowling all-rounder option?
Why couldn't you have stuck with Aksar?
And this thing actually, and to be fair, I think South Africa read the conditions a lot better than India did.
Yes.
Because they only went with one full-time proper spinner.
Yes. Because Lungi Ngidi, Kagiso Rabada, and yes, I do admit, I would have preferred Marco Jansen
At the start, but
actually, more than Lungi Ngidi, the difference in the death was actually Wayne Parnell.
correct.
Parnell's spell in the death actually ensured India were 15 to 20 runs short. He was bowling it, he didn't give Surya Kumar any room.
Yeah.
Because what did Surya Kumar thrive on? Surya Kumar was thriving on having a bit of room on the offside or on the pads, because you couldn't flick it to that shorter boundary.
Exactly. And you know for a fact that the amount of climb the ball was getting, and at that pace, you get a little bit of bat and it's flying.
Straight and cramping him for room. Why do you think Pakistan have done this?
Yeah.
Why have Pakistan been successful in Surya? Because they cramped him for room.
Yeah.
And why did I say a 13-year pain? When was the last time South Africa defeated India in an ICC event? In a T20 World Cup? 2009 in Trent Bridge by 12 runs.
Yeah.
India have lost to South Africa for the first time in 11 years. 2011 Nagpur was the last time. But if you want to pick out the silver linings or the straws in a sinking ship, they won the World Cup at that time. But that was a different era. That was a different eon altogether.
Also, special shout out to David Miller. I mean, if you look at those numbers,
Kohli, then Miller stands right up.
Miller in 2022 has been a player reborn. In fact, especially so when it comes to chasing. We saw it with the Gujarat Titans. We're seeing it now with South Africa. And look at those numbers. 16 innings. He's been not out 14 times in chases in T20 cricket through the year.
Average of
280.5.
280 with a strike rate of 154.
That is madness.
The only guy who beats him on that count is Virat Kohli.
That is, dare I say, those are Kohli-esque numbers when it comes to a chase.
Absolutely.
Those are Kohli-esque numbers.
And no surprises that Lungi Ngidi is the man of the match for his score for 29.
I mean, see, you could pick between one of the batsmen, but Lungi really set up that entire match with his...
They richly deserved. I mean, no grudges against Lungi Ngidi. He was fantastic. But on a pitch which was incredibly difficult to bat, I would have given it to Miller. For the way how he kept his cool and how he ensured Markram was not overwhelmed.
I mean, both of them actually, their partnership was beautiful.
76 runs.
Beautiful
Game
partnership.
changer.
I mean, when you're chasing, you need what was the target? 120?
134.
134. 76 runs if your two batsmen get you, regardless of the strike rate, regardless of the intent, doesn't matter. 20 overs, 130 runs is not a lot.
I mean, look, where did India struggle? They were playing catch up right from the very, and I'll take Roy SP's comment before I come to this. Nothing against KL Rahul. No doubt about a Stats century in 2014-15 in Australia. Too long run millions said about DK previously.
Said about DK previously, he's talked about what you were saying. But yeah, the KL Rahul conundrum just continues, doesn't it?
But now I think DK is in doubt for the Bangladesh because he was seen clutching his lower back. And he went away and Pant
came back. Yeah.
If that is an indication, then probably DK is in doubt for the Bangladesh game. And now Amit Khajuria, I'll come to that point. What are India's chances now? Number one, you have to really thank Bangladesh today.
Yeah.
Because had Zimbabwe won against Bangladesh, you would have seen South Africa and Zimbabwe on 5 points each.
And India would have been on 4.
Now, the problem is, if the Bangladesh-India game in Adelaide is washed out, there is a 61% chances of rain in Adelaide on November 2. And unlike Melbourne, unlike Sydney, where there was going to be a day rain, there in Adelaide, it is going to be around afternoon, evening. That is a big problem. If 1 point comes out of that,
then suddenly you're regretting
this Pakistan get a big boost. You're all saying that if India wins, it's a big boost for Pakistan. No. If actually India's loss also is a boost for Pakistan. Why? They won against Netherlands by a big margin. That's improved their net
relatively
run rate.
big margin. Yeah.
So India's net run rate is 0.8 plus. South Africa's has dipped to 2.8 because they took a lot of time to chase. So that's why it's come down to 2.8. Now, Pakistan's next game that is there is against South Africa. That is a virtual quarterfinal for Pakistan. Because now South Africa is assured of getting 7 points. Why? At least one. If they lose to Pakistan, they are assured of 7. Because they play the Netherlands last.
Right.
That is why India's chances are not damaged that much. But every match now for them is crucial. Luckily, they play Bangladesh and they take on Zimbabwe in the last game. Melbourne, they are saying the last of the rain is gone. There will be not much of rain. So, India's chances, not really a big problem. But, panic stations, boss.
Yeah, now suddenly...
You're lost at the business end at a very crucial juncture. And if India managed to get through to the semi-finals, thank Bangladesh for beating Zimbabwe. Because had Zimbabwe won, India were in big trouble.
Today, yeah, absolutely.
And let us not count out Bangladesh. We make that mistake. Yes, Bangladesh has struggled and they will struggle. But against India, they will want to bring their A game.
No, they tend to just bring that little edge.
Too much of hurt has happened with Bangladesh against India. This team, the likes of Taskin Ahmed, the likes of Mahmood Hassan, watch out for Mahmood Hassan. He was the one who made the difference in the death overs against Zimbabwe today.
Correct.
You have Shakib, who has a point to prove.
Always.
You have Soumya Sarkar. You have Litton Das. Mossadegh. You have all these guys, they'll want to prove a point and they want to hurt India when it hurts the most. If they beat India,
then suddenly you're asking questions.
You're not assured of a place in the semi-final anymore. So, you have to pray that rain stays away in Adelaide on November 2. You have to pray now that South Africa beats Pakistan.
And you have to pray that these guys, our boys, can bounce back hard from what was actually a pretty demoralizing loss. Because actually, if you look at it after the first innings, you were thinking this is India's game to lose. You look at it after the first 10 overs of the second innings, you say it's India's game to lose. But
remember, Pakistan's next 2 games are against South Africa and Bangladesh. So they also don't have an easy draw, by the way.
Correct.
But if India loses to Bangladesh, or if points are split,
then it's problematic.
Pakistan beats South Africa and Bangladesh, then India...
Then it's coming down to
their win against their match against Zimbabwe is a virtual quarterfinal. Now, I will talk about the fielding. India were playing catch up when you lost 4 wickets at the very beginning to Lungi Ngidi.
Yeah.
KL Rahul out, Rohit Sharma out,
Virat.
Kohli. Now, that Kohli dismissal took me back to 2015. You would have expected bounce, but Kohli looked hurried in that top. He top edged the pull. Normally, he middles the pull shot well.
More often than
but
not.
Lungi Ngidi got the ball to skid and he was beaten for pace. That's why he top edged it. Similar thing had happened. Mitchell Johnson at Sydney, World Cup semi-final. Short ball. Kohli was pulling and hooking Mitchell Johnson to oblivion in 2014-15. But what happened in that? In March, the Australian pitches were still giving you that much of bounce.
Yeah.
Kohli was cramped for room around off stump. Top edged it. Game over. Here, he was beaten for pace, got the top edge, Rabada at fine leg.
Also, you're talking about fielding. Look at the kind of catches Rabada was taking today.
Brilliant. That changed the game. That was the difference.
And we unfortunately had one drop
Yes.
catch and one botched up run
Kohli
out.
today showed that he could also be mortal. Why? When was the last time a catch that Kohli dropped proved to be very, very expensive? 2014 Wellington. 2014 Wellington, he dropped an absolute sitter. He was at silly mid-on. Shami was bowling. McCullum just chipped it. And Kohli just had to catch it. He dropped it.
Same today, really.
Today, he could have gotten the catch. It bobbled out. And he dropped it. Ashwin, that will be a meme-worthy face that Ashwin gave. He just couldn't believe it. And Ashwin, unfortunately, the luck was not with him.
Yeah.
But there's nothing about luck or anything when you bowl 2 slot balls. And even with Bhuvi, the bouncer you are trying, but where was the bouncer effective? Around middle and off. Here too, but middle and off.
When I say here, I mean it should be coming this side.
Not
With
the leg
Miller,
side.
With Miller, it was this side. So if it was on his leg side, he could just swing.
With the pace and the bounce, you just had to get a bit of glove and bat on it. The third man and fine leg boundaries were 65 to 70 meters.
And don't forget that you were generally at that point keeping both of those fielders more square.
Yes.
So
Overs 10 to 15, 11 to 15, 5 overs, 55 runs.
2 missed opportunities, by the way. By
Yes. 2
And then
missed
this.
opportunities. But the other one you could have a benefit out of. Markram lost his shape. Ashwin bowled the carom ball. It was perfectly set up. Markram lost his shape because the ball spun away. And again, 35. And how much did Markram make? 17 runs.
Correct.
17 runs in a chase of 134. Massive
It's a lot of difference, yeah.
Massive difference. Pradeep Srivalsan is like saying the Indian fielding coach, be it for the men's or the women's, has never been held accountable. Wheel of time. John T. Rhodes could have been fielding Kapil Dev's national. No. Wheel of time, I have to disagree with you on one aspect. Has never been held accountable? No. India's fielding has let them down at crunch situations. For the women in particular, the Commonwealth Games, classic example.
Yeah.
2020 T20, forget Commonwealth, 2020 T20 World Cup. Shefali Verma drops Alisa Healy of Deepti Sharma. What happens after that? Alisa Healy plays one of the greatest knocks that you see in the T20 World Cup final, and the game is lost for India.
Correct.
So this is what happens when Virat fails in a match in a T20 World Cup. Yes, but did you bank on Virat carrying you the entire distance?
No, not when you have that much quality in your batting lineup and your bowling lineup.
And remember, the game was made competitive because of Surya's knock. Every time you look at it, barring Pakistan, Surya has set up the game.
Correct.
His 50 against Netherlands changed the entire discourse. Kohli was there, brilliant. But today, India were in this position thanks to Surya.
Yadu Vinayak says Zimbabwe will win against India. Big prediction. Both SA and Zim will go to the semis. All said and done, our batting is just not good enough. It's sad. That last point I will amplify. Long rope for KL has just proved to be a noose. The more and more his failures pile up, the harder and harder it gets to justify giving him that longer rope.
Yes.
I think there's going to be question marks.
Now I'm only worried India don't make wholesale changes.
I don't think they'll make wholesale changes, but yeah.
Because if they do, You are making the same mistake
That you made in
you did
2021.
2021.
Correct.
Same mistake.
But
It's
look at
not
that.
panic stations. It is technically not panic stations
Technically
because you are still in second position.
But look at, one thing I have to point out. Pakistan and that net run rate. Eesh.
Plus 0.765.
And look at India's is not that far.
0.8.
Exactly.
It's now under 0.09. 0.08 rather. So
actually, the only team who's out of it as things stand are the Netherlands.
That's why I said India, if they go through to the semi-final, you have to thank Bangladesh because they beat Zimbabwe. If Zimbabwe had won today, oh boy, India were in a massive position of trouble because India would have stayed on 4, they would have been in 3rd. Zimbabwe would have been on 5, South Africa would have been on 5. And India now, November 2 and November 6, Adelaide and the MCG, 2 must-win games for them. If Bangladesh, because Bangladesh now also have to win against Pakistan and India, their last 2 games. Now the India-Bangladesh games now assume a quarterfinal. So does Pakistan-South Africa. 1 loss for Pakistan, they are out.
Yeah.
Because now they can only get to 4 points if that happens.
And
so Dinesh Karthik, yes, as I had said, he was holding his lower back. He walked off and Rishabh Pant kept wickets. So I think DK could be in doubt for Adelaide. And ironically, against a team whom he has hurt so often in the past.
Bangladesh, correct?
Yes. Karma. And India's campaign changed when Rishabh Pant came in 2020-2021. Will India's campaign change this time when Pant plays in Adelaide? We don't know. Whether he opens, whether he keeps, it all remains to be seen what happens in Adelaide. As of now, South Africa have ended 13 years of pain. Couple of catches, Pradeep Shivalsan saying, couple of catches and enough chances why we lost. Good wake-up call at the right time. Pakistan definitely blame us. Now Ash KL out. For Aksar and Pant, DK may be injured. Absolutely.
I think Ash, I think I would, and I keep saying this, and I kept saying this. I remember when, the matches started and against Pakistan, Ash bowled economically. I kept saying, I said, when that situation comes, that you need a wicket taker in the middle over, is the day you will regret dropping Yuzvendra Chahal. That's what happened today.
And anyway, look, you're still not having a window for Yuzvendra Chahal.
Correct.
Now, if India make it to the semi-finals, will Yuzvendra Chahal be your trump card at that time? Perhaps you will not have the rhythm.
And then perhaps if you've made it to the semi-finals with that team, if it isn't broke, why fix it?
Exactly. Now, India have to worry for 2 reasons. One, the nature of the batting, how we collapsed against quality seam bowling. Although you will not encounter these kind of conditions in Sydney and Melbourne and Adelaide. These are the 3 venues where you are going to play.
Correct.
Sydney and Adelaide are going to host the semi-finals. Melbourne will be your final. You will not, maybe Melbourne, perhaps you may encounter spicy tech like how it happened against Pakistan. Maybe. But you lost at the business end towards the middle where you had to sustain momentum. Now that Bangladesh game is very, very dodgy.
Now in fact, the other 2 games, you would say.
Yes. Because if India loses to Bangladesh, big problems.
Yeah, so I think both these games now assume a lot more significance.
Yep. I hope, Roy SP, I hope they don't panic post this match. I hope so too. I know they won't drop Rahul, but I want Pant now. Bangladesh
You might get your wish in that regard.
Okay, but 50 overs World Cup, that was a different era altogether.
That's why he says, but not now.
Not now. No, I'm saying Zimbabwe and Bangladesh have defeated us in the past. But that was in a different, you may say, a different era. I will not, though, bet on the fact that Bangladesh could get the bet. Because look, all this while, India have held the edge over Bangladesh. They have won 11-1 in T20 contests. That 1 loss came in 2019.
Correct.
Bangladesh will really be wanting to get that monkey off their back and ensure they beat India. Bangladesh is not going to be a cakewalk. Siddesh Patel, I totally agree with you. We are not overconfident. We are worried for the fact that
now
not for the performance. Rain and
the fact that Bangladesh always come out super motivated against India.
The hurt of 2016.
52 Jayesh Shirke says Chahal over Ash, please.
Not happening. Maybe
if I prefer not to speak because if I do, I'll be in trouble, big trouble.
Okay, that's the thing because Vikas Jaiswal, see Karthik, any news on Karthik?
None yet, unfortunately. We know for a fact he walked off injured. And as for any injury news coming, stay tuned.
The BCCI will say the BCCI medical staff is monitoring the situation and will be updated accordingly. I think they are not going to be too worried about DK. But if they are worried about DK's form with the bat, and especially with his keeping, today even in the Netherlands game,
his keeping. In fact, even before the Netherlands game, even before in certain bilaterals and all, we had been saying that his keeping seems to be a bit of a trade-off that you're taking, knowing that what he brings to the table with the bat. But unfortunately, haven't seen that with the bat. And if he's actually carrying a knock, won't really surprise me if there's a like for like there, and they just bring back punt.
As I have been saying, this World Cup has been about trying to buck trends.
Yeah.
Zimbabwe defeated Pakistan after a very long time. They have been wanting to buck the trend. New Zealand ended 13 years of pain in Australia. They bucked the trend and they won. Ireland bucked the trend by beating England in the T20 World Cup and continued England's trend of not winning against their European neighbours.
Correct.
Bangladesh are super motivated because they want to win against one of the top opponents. And they won against Zimbabwe and Netherlands. But
those are not top opponents.
Unfortunately, no disrespect to Zimbabwe. They have been the darlings of this T20 World Cup.
Yeah. But they're not top opponents, at least not at this point.
Bangladesh are very desperate to win. So they will want to buck the trend now. What has Rohit Sharma done in T20 World Cup?
Shocking PSRs.
Is like asking...
No, actually, I looked at his numbers in T20 World Cups. They're not bad.
But
broader
picture, context.
No, when I looked at them, it's like, they're not bad numbers. But again, when you see Rohit Sharma, you're expecting more.
You're expecting more. And look, he played a match-winning knock against South Africa in 2007.
That was the time. Yeah, fair enough.
Okay. He had a brilliant knock of 79 against Australia, but that was when the horse had already bolted. Australia were already firm favourites. You just ensured that the victory margin was lesser. Now, apart from that, in 2016, you did struggle. You hit a 43 against the West Indies, fine, but then the rest of the batting struggled. 2021, you struggled big time. But when the horse bolted, when there was no pressure, you scored freely against Namibia, Scotland, and Afghanistan, right? Roy SP, some stars aligning. 2007, one loss against New Zealand, close match against Pakistan. 2022, one loss against South Africa and a close one against Pakistan. 07 and a washout Scotland.
Yeah, you asking for a washout? No.
Oh, yes. He's like saying 2007 T20 World Cup.
I remember.
The washout against Scotland, close game against Pakistan, one loss against New Zealand.
This time around, replace New Zealand with South Africa. You've had a close match with Pakistan and you just need a washout. Yeah, not yet.
Adelaide, they are pretty...
Bangladesh match.
No. See, Roy SP, at the end of the day, I don't think you will see a repetition of what happened in 2007, 2011. It will be in a different way altogether.
True.
Australia will not repeat 2007. Australia will not repeat 2015. New Zealand hopefully does not repeat 2019 and 2021. But you don't have a certified semi-finalist from either group. Neither South Africa, neither India, neither Bangladesh, neither England, neither New Zealand, neither Australia in the other group.
True.
Rahul has to make, Utkarsh Vivek is like saying, guys, Rahul has to make way for Pant. Rohit is really burdened and appears he cannot lead the template he has been pushing.
Yeah, to be fair, see, that's why I always say template talks are overrated. Today's match was not according to anyone's template because it was a very, very, very difficult track. Not an easy track to bat on. Bowlers were getting plenty of joy, especially if you were able to land that sweet spot. You were getting a good amount of bounce. So this is why I keep saying sometimes template doesn't really matter all that much. South Africa played according to the situation better and they won it.
Yep. Sir, if India versus Bangladesh wash out, then does India versus Zimbabwe virtual quarter final? Akash Bharadwaj, for that to happen. Okay. Now you are on 4 points. Okay. Akash, listen to this very carefully. You are on 4 points.
If that washes out,
Adelaide happens,
then 5 points.
Bangladesh and India remain on 5 points. Right? What if on the day after that, Pakistan beats South Africa? Then Pakistan get to 4 points, South Africa remain on 5. You then have a situation where Zimbabwe could join you with 5 points after beating Netherlands.
Correct.
Then Pakistan, if they beat Bangladesh, Bangladesh are out. India versus Zimbabwe will then become a virtual quarterfinal because South Africa will beat the Netherlands. Now, for India versus Zimbabwe to not become a virtual quarterfinal, South Africa has to beat Pakistan. If South Africa beats Pakistan, South Africa go through to the semi-final, Pakistan are out. Simple. That is the equation. India versus Zimbabwe will not be a virtual quarterfinal if South Africa beat Pakistan. And remember, South Africa have plenty of pain even against Pakistan. They haven't won against them for close to 10 years in an ICC event.
Correct.
Lost in 2012, lost in 2017, lost in 2019 and 15. They have revenge on their cards. And tomorrow is going to be a very crucial day for Australia. October 31 at the Gabba, you'll see Australia take on Ireland, and Australia's net run rate is minus 1.55.
In fact, the net run rate is so bad right now that Ireland are actually ahead of them.
They have to win big. If they don't win big, then their chances take a big hit because November 1 will see the ultimate churner in Group 1, New Zealand versus England.
Correct.
And remember, England's last game is against Sri Lanka, which is not going to be easy at all.
True.
Sri Lanka can get to 4 points because their one game is against Afghanistan. And remember, imagine, this is strange. Afghanistan have gotten no wins
and still have 2
Sri
points.
Lanka have 1 win.
And both have the exact same
number of points because the net run rate is minus 0.6. Imagine Afghanistan's plight. Both games against New Zealand and Ireland washed out. One loss against England was so near. When they play against Sri Lanka, they'll say, what? Were Afghanistan really playing in this T20 World Cup? That's the thing. So it is going to be Australia versus Ireland at the Gabba tomorrow. For India, you have to watch out now.
And now, in fact, it's going to be a case of waiting till Wednesday and really just hoping that the boys can bounce back quickly from this.
Vijay Raghavan, Pakistan, South Africa, I think is not happening in Melbourne. Pakistan, South Africa is happening in Sydney. And if that gets washed out, Pakistan are out. Because they also can only get to 5 points.
Correct.
And 2 teams are guaranteed to get to 7 and 6. 2 teams. Because one of Bangladesh and India will get to 6.
Correct.
So Pakistan, if that game is washed out, Pakistan are out. They have to win all. Are we going to meet New Zealand in semi-finals?
If that happens, oh dear God, 2019 flashbacks.
Can happen.
And Sudesh Srivastav says, hello folks, hi Sudesh. Can you humor us as to why Rohit selected Huda if he does not want to give him even 1 over to bowl? Then they might as well select Pant.
I do not understand and I've never understood Deepak Huda's inclusion. I'm very sorry. Analysts, everybody will say, oh, he had to be there. Balance, everything.
But
I'm sorry.
He's not brought any balance because you've not made him bowl. You haven't made the man bowl. He was brought in there as an all-rounder, someone who could bowl 2 overs. He's not even bowling 1.
I'm sorry. Having Deepak Huda in the team makes no sense. Even now, it doesn't make sense for me. I'm sorry. No disrespect to Deepak Huda. I love the guy. He's a very good man. But
it's adding nothing to the squad.
Adding nothing. He's done nothing. 0, no wickets. Nothing.
See, at least no wickets, you can't blame him because he didn't get a chance to bowl.
He didn't bowl. Simple.
So, okay, that's the point of having him there, right? Because okay, fine, he fails with the bat. He can at least chuck you in a couple of overs. He didn't get 1 over. You had to go back to Ashwin, who every man and their dog knew the South Africans were waiting to attack.
Yes.
And what happened the first 2 balls he bowled? 2 sixes.
2 sixes.
Match over. Boom.
Shakin. India might not have to face New Zealand in the semi-final if England win their remaining 2 games.
Yeah, possibly.
Because if England win against New Zealand, then New Zealand can only get to 7. But England can get to 9 if they win against both New Zealand and Sri Lanka. No, 7. They'll also only get to 7 because they lost to Ireland. They won against Afghanistan and their game against Australia was washed out. So, if New Zealand lose by heavy margin to England and England also beat Sri Lanka by a big margin, who knows? Then it would be an India-England semi-final. But we are not thinking about the semi-finals. First, we have to get past Bangladesh. who are determined to ensure that they dump India.
You have actually two tricky fixtures in that regard, in the sense that there could be potential landmines. Bangladesh, Zimbabwe. Zimbabwe will play against India as a team with nothing to lose.
Nothing to lose.
Because for them, actually qualifying for the World Cup in itself was a massive indicator of the kind of progress that they've made.
Actually, even the India-Zimbabwe game has plenty at stake for both sides.
Nah.
Because if Zimbabwe beat Netherlands and Bangladesh lose to both India and they lose to Pakistan, and Pakistan loses to South Africa, then and Adelaide is washed out 1-1. Zimbabwe have to beat India to reach the semi-finals. That's it.
Correct.
So a chance for a World Cup semi-final, Zimbabwe will not want to botch it up. But yes, at the end of the day, Zimbabwe under pressure, we'll have to see how much that happens. So Adi Sekar is saying 3 changes needed. I would say hold your horses. If DK is injured, definitely you replace him with that. But apart from that, I don't see that whether you want to.
No, because see, I think Akshar for Huda is a pretty given.
That's
so those at least 2 changes, Pant for DK and Akshar for Huda, I expect to happen. Chahal for Ashwin, I would do, but then I would never have started the tournament with Ashwin as my main spinner either.
Yep.
So,
indeed. So plenty.
And yes, Vikas Jaiswal, there really is a lot of chaos in the points table. Actually, this year around it's more than normal because you've had so many rain-affected matches.
Yes.
If you didn't have rain-affected matches, I think the table would.
And Ireland's win against England and Zimbabwe's win against Pakistan have churned the entire table.
Right.
That's the reason. So, plenty to ponder for India heading into their next crucial encounter on November 2nd in Adelaide. India versus Bangladesh, and for South Africa, they will be relieved that they finally ended a decade of pain against India.
Absolutely.
But their next opponent is not so easy, folks. It's Pakistan versus South Africa and a virtual quarterfinal.
Correct.
Equation simple. Pakistan lose,
they're out.
If Pakistan win, other results have to go their way. And that is why India, if they lose to Bangladesh, then Pakistan will have to win against South Africa. No two ways about it. And Bangladesh must lose to Pakistan. That will be a virtual quarterfinal as well. And Bangladesh must beat India. Or the game is washed out. So, thank you so much, folks, for joining us for this live. We'll be back with more updates on Sports Today. There's still a couple of sporting events happening, which I will come back to. I'll have to check out what has happened in that. So,
thank you all for joining us again. Please don't forget to like, share, subscribe, comment.
Yep.
Don't forget to tap that bell icon so you know when we're going live. Makes it much easier for you guys. Yep. And of course, don't forget to follow us on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram as well.
Yep.
Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you. Bye bye.
Bye bye. Good night. Vanakkam.